Hello, this is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. Please hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Today there are two new videos put out in the crash between the CRJ 700 regional jet and a Black Hawk helicopter that occurred on the 29th at about, I think it was 8:48 local time in Washington, D.C. It was American Eagle flight number 5342, a Bombardier regional jet, CRJ 700. It was carrying 60 passengers and 4 crew members. I think they can hold 65 passengers, so it was almost completely filled. It was on a flight from Wichita, Kansas. The helicopter was a Sikorsky H-60 Black Hawk, and it had 3 pilots on board. And according to the news out there, there were 3 pilots that were actually on the Black Hawk. 2 of them were males that had 1,000 hours of flight experience. And then there was a female pilot that had 500 hours of flight experience. And she was the pilot in command at the time of the accident. And it's at least we're calling it an accident now. I mean, it could turn out to be something more nefarious later, but I don't think so. And apparently these were just training flights, just practicing, maintaining your readiness, your sharpness, just flying around and getting more experience. And this would be the last flight for 3 of those individuals training. And unfortunately, an error created the deaths of another 64 people, and I think the issue is going to be between the air traffic controller and the Black Hawk. Was there enough information given to the Black Hawk pilots so that they could be assured they were checking for the correct plane? Apparently, at 2 different times, the air traffic controller communicated with the Black Hawk and had them look to see if they could spot a plane coming in, a CRJ, and they said, yep, we can see it. But there was another one coming in that was a little bit further down south coming in, and it appears that might be the one that they were looking at, according to a pilot online who put a video out. And the pilots of the Black Hawk would just maintain visual separation. They could see the plane and they would just make sure that they stayed away from it. But obviously they missed the plane that was coming in from the left, and they sort of crashed at a perpendicular angle. Now the helicopter also went up over 100 feet in the last mile and turned, etc. Did it see it at the last moment? Or is there something more nefarious going on here? I think it's most likely going to be just a perfect storm, but you never know. Now this video right here is going to show you exactly where these 2 pieces of footage that we have took place. Okay, now we'll watch the footage first, and then I'll go over where I believe the footage was taken from. So let me rewind it to the beginning, and here we go. I'll just zoom in over here. And look at that's just insane right there. Look how clear this shot is. So that right there is the CRJ 700. And then from the left over here, you'll see the Black Hawk coming in. And there it is. Look at this. Boom. I mean, just absolutely explodes. You can see, it looks like that's the helicopter over there, and then that's the jet landing in the water right there. And here is another shot. Look how clear this one is too. There's the Black Hawk, and then there's the jet. Now, boom. I mean, unbelievable. Same exact debris pattern. I mean, people can fake stuff. I don't think this is fake. I think this is absolutely legit. I think it was on CNN. And here it is again. There's the Black Hawk. And you can tell in this image, notice how stable the plane appears. That means it's basically coming right towards the camera. The first one we watch is a different angle. As you can see, the plane also moving and the Black Hawk moving at the same time. So in this one, the jet is basically coming right towards the camera, slightly going to the right, but there goes the Black Hawk, and then boom. Unreal. All right, let's take a look at the footage in slow motion. It's 50% speed, and it's zoomed in on the area of interest. There's the Black Hawk hitting the CRJ 700, and you can actually see on the right, looks like that's the helicopter falling over to the right, and then there's a larger part of the fuselage landing in the water. I believe this footage is from the air traffic controller. Again, you can see the Black Hawk, and then it runs right into the CRJ. And then that over to the right, that light's obviously the helicopter, and then the larger part of the plane lands into the water. And again, here is the other shot. And there you go. I mean, just absolutely horrifying. At least it didn't last too long. All right, so let's go and figure out exactly where these took place. Now here's a wider shot. I believe that this shot right here was taken from the air traffic control tower. All right, so let's just go with this one first though, okay? Here's the first shot, and in this one you can see, again, you'll see that the plane is coming in straight, basically to the camera, and then there's the Black Hawk, and it runs into it. All right, so I'm going to pan out, zoom out a little bit, and I was looking for a shot that would look like that. So you're looking for something, and it would be right over here, and I believe this is the spot right here, and I think, you know, the 3D quit working going into the water right there, but I believe that this little pier is the exact same pier that you're seeing right there. And if you look, that would be, the jet would have been coming in almost straight at it, and look where the 33 runway is. So it'd be just slightly moving to the right on the screen, and that's exactly what we were seeing. Also, there's two other indicators that I want you to look at. Let's keep playing it. And then pause it right there. See, there's a little part that jets out over here. That you can see it a little bit better if I think if I brighten it up a little bit. And you can see right there, there's the point sticking out. Now I'm going to remove that because it looks ridiculous. But you can see the point sticking out, and that is what we're seeing right here. And then also, see that big building in the background? Let's just fly right over to it, right there. I guess we can't really do it like that, but if we zoom in, there is this big building in the background, and you would think you might be able to see it if it pans enough, and I believe you can, just in a specific frame. So here we go, back to this. And there goes the parts, and the camera pans, and then right there, see that big square lit up building? That's that building that we see. So that shot was taken from that bank. Now notice there's a bank there and a little bit of shore, and then there is the walkway. And I think this camera's in between these two, and you can see right there, that's exactly what it looks like. There's a bank, a little bit of beach, and there is the walkway. The 3D just quit working on this building here. All right, so that is the first shot. And the second shot, I believe, is from the air traffic controller. So let's move it over here, and you can see, let's just pause it right there. Now look at, this is the only anomaly. That little black spot doesn't exist in the Google Earth maps. It's not recent enough, but I think obviously there's been some updates in there. So let's take a look at the airport situation. I think that shot was actually taken from this air traffic controller tower. And I think inside of here, they've updated where there's that little black portion of the runway. I mean, it sort of looks similar to this. This is just reverse, where this was the light and then darkness. I think it's absolutely the same spot, and I'll show you why here in a second. A couple different reasons. All right, so I think it's actually this one right here, the air traffic controller box. And let's take a look. And see that right there? You got this little, I guess that's sort of the walkway to get onto the plane right there. And then there's another one right there. This isn't there currently, but look at how everything else works really well. See how it's not that far away where there's actually a plane there. And amazingly, there happens to be a plane in the exact same spot in this shot. So it'd be kind of like that. There's that little walkway, a plane right there, and then currently there's this darkness that's in that location. Now another thing to look at is in the background. See that tower or whatever this is right there? You can see it. See that right there? Let's zoom in. It's right back there, way back in the background, but it's right there. See that? And then when you line it up, it works absolutely perfectly. You get to the tower, and then look where I actually have a pin where the plane went in the water, and that's right there. And if you go back, here's the tower. Just kind of line up with the top of that. Look this direction. There's that tower in the background. And there it is right there. And then there's the Black Hawk hits the plane. Now look where the plane goes into the water. To the right of that tower in the background, just slightly. So there's the tower slightly to the right. If we go up here, and then there's the tower, and then we zoom in, look at that. Slightly to the right is where the pin went in the water. Now what I'm using for where it went into the water is on flight radar, is able to download the CSV file that has all the flight information at various GPS coordinates. I think all of this stuff later in here is, you know, some anomaly from the Reck itself. And even this 900, there's something off with that. So right when it hits 0, if you go to Google Earth and you put the coordinates up above, you'll see it lands right on top of where I already have plane crash. So that's the first time it hit 0. Now it could have moved in the water a little bit after that, causing it to change location, but I think the most accurate point is when it hit 0 the first time is where it hit the water. And so that's where I have that pin. And so you have the air traffic controller angle, and I think CNN must have secured video from the air traffic controller. And when you look at their full video, it's really a wide angle, has a massive amount, but somehow they didn't want to release that. They just released the portion where the plane and the helicopter collided. They made it kind of narrow. They didn't let us see the whole image, and it would have made it a hell of a lot easier to determine. But I think you know, just other things to look at would be like the shapes that you see right here. Those do exist on this one also. However, I don't think this one works because I think you would see that part of the building in the shot. This one, you can't see that, and it looks, and even this part matches, coming in more narrowly, and then you just see the other walkway right there. I think it's right at the beginning where you get more information. So if you just enter into the shot, like right there, see, there's the walkway, and there's another walkway, the plane, and there's the jet coming in. And let's take a closer look at some of this, though. It's crazy. Look at that. And then, like right there, look at that whole, I think that was the jet. And this is the first shot from earlier. I think that's the helicopter. I can see almost the rotor still spinning on it. And then the plane tumbles in the water after that. Yeah, wow. That's unreal. I mean, any of these things, I guess possibly these days could be faked, but they literally are exactly in a place that does exist, and they're similar, and everything looks similar. And I believe this is real footage. I don't think CNN, even though they are a fake news organization, that they would put out some video like this if they weren't sure it was true. Okay, so I hope this helps clarify these two videos. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure to subscribe. I do a lot of different cases out there, usually in the true crime world, and do the same sort of mapping and try to figure things out, kind of back engineer crime scenes or events that law enforcement is describing, and that way everybody has a good insight of what's going on in various cases. And I've done it in other cases like this that are more disasters, or perhaps something nefarious, like I covered the entire Trump assassination, multiple videos with all kinds of different mapping and video analysis, and I think it was some of the best out there, if I do say so myself. So if you can hit the like button, I would really appreciate it. I think this case most likely is going to turn out to be air traffic controller and helicopter pilot error. One thing I do want to know, though, is did they ever communicate with the jet? When the jet was, a mile out, didn't they say, hey, be wary, there's a helicopter at your same height that seems to be coming in, and let them notice it? Because they could have pulled out or pulled away. It doesn't sound like that communication happened. At least we haven't heard that yet. Okay, so we'll all keep an eye out and see if there's any new information that breaks that might turn the investigation into something completely different. We don't know, but I think it's most likely going to be a perfect storm of tragic events. Low-staffed air traffic controller, not enough information given to the helicopter pilot not seeing the exact aircraft because of the poor communication, and that ended in the loss of 67 lives. All right, everybody, thank you all very much for watching. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.